Yo guys, what's up? It's Verse, and today we're going to be doing something a little different than what I usually do. Recently I found a picture for a Gmod Iceberg, which looks very interesting, and I know a thing or two about Gmod, so I decided to give it a try. Credit to the creator of the iceberg is in the description. If you don't know how an iceberg template works, it works like this. The iceberg represents how much information there is known about the topic. There are different layers. The deeper we go, the less information there is. We start all the way up at the sky with the most basic information like the spawn menu, context menu, and tool gun. Stuff you should already know if you've played Gmod before. So let's get started. This is referring to how the physics in the game are not the best and kind of janky. This is probably referring to how you need Counter-Strike Source to view some textures on different Garry's Mod maps, and if you don't have Counter-Strike Source like myself, you'll often end up seeing missing textures all over the place, and it's pretty annoying too. I think this is referring to how some props you can break in the game, but there are some add-ons that let you break almost every single prop in the game. But I think it's referring to how there's only a few props you can break. I honestly don't know that much about this one, but an Xbot is an AI system that's used in multiplayer Source games, and I've seen a few of these before on Garry's Mod. They like chase you around and kill you.
Oh fuck. I think we split up.
No! I'm not exactly 100% sure how these work, but this is just an example of one. Ragdolls are honestly one of the most fun things in the game. You can pose them and then just mess around with them. This is really fun. Straightforward, bro. It's multiplayer. This game's got servers. G-Bombs is an add-on pack that has a bunch of different other bombs that you can use to play around with. There's an add-on called Wire Mod, and it allows you to make more advanced things like this on screen. I actually never learned how to use it because it looks a little bit complicated, but you can make some pretty cool stuff out of it. Did you know that this game has different game modes? You can play Trouble in Terrorist Town, Murder, and a bunch of other game modes. The Garry's Mod Workshop is full of Five Nights at Freddy's add-ons. It's stupid how much there are. It's insane. I don't know how to pronounce it, but this add-on is kind of just like a library for different types of add-ons, like manual pickup and such. There's an achievement in the game called Secret Phrase, which you can unlock by typing in block switch into the chat, which is a secret phrase. But I don't think it's a secret phrase anymore. I'm not entirely sure why the word is block switch. I've seen some people say that it's where Garry lives. It's also a place, so who knows, maybe it's an inside joke. I'm not completely sure. M9K is a weapon pack. They used to come in pistols, shotguns, and assault rifles. I used to use it myself. It's pretty fun to use, honestly. There's specialties. You can use like a rocket and everything. I used to use those all the time. This one is pretty straightforward. It's just how the game crashes a lot, especially if you have a bunch of mods. Father Gregory is a character from Half-Life 2. And in Garry's Mod, he appears in the animal section. Now, I find this a little bit funny just because it's calling him an animal. In Half-Life 2, he is a bit of an animal. He's kind of insane. So I guess that makes sense. If you look up Cheeple in the spawn list menu, only two models will pop up. A police and male_Cheeple. Now, these models look like they're used when they're in farther render distance because you can see that they have less polygons. Nothing really too out of the ordinary, but a little weird nonetheless. Something is creating script errors is a message that will pop up on the top left of your screen when something is, well, creating script errors. I get this message a lot because I have a bunch of add-ons and it ends up messing up with something in the console, but it's nothing out of the ordinary. I have not found anything online talking about props moving on their own, but who knows, maybe they do. Maybe they do. Prop flying is kind of what it sounds like. You grab a prop, you put it underneath yourself, and then you propel yourself in the air by using your scroll wheel and then jumping at the same time while pulling it towards yourself. Although don't do it too fast because you might clip through the prop and then mess up the whole process and then fall down and die. I really don't know what this was referring to because you can scroll through recent and add-ons and dupes and then see the most recent one. I really don't know. This is the only thing I could find that's similar to it. I couldn't find any actual servers in the game other than a few gameplay videos on YouTube. They probably removed them all. In Construct, there's a room underground in which you can go to which is completely white and it looks like a void. That's probably where it got its name from. You can also paint this room, which is pretty cool, and you can just go ahead and fight enemies and then seeing blood all over the place. Pretty cool room overall. Post-processing isn't too special, it's pretty cool. It gives off a little camera effect, probably in case you want to take some screenshots or just fuck with your gameplay. But it's pretty neat. Again, I don't know what this is talking about, but I'm guessing since they have similar names, that one was copying the other. Probably the one that starts with a D, but I'm sorry I don't know this. I think this refers to how some roleplay servers are what looks like the majority are pay to win, and they have stuff that you can buy like more health and guns in them, and well, you get it. I'm guessing that some servers have had scams before, like telling you to buy this certain thing, then you never actually get it, or players somehow scamming you. I don't know how Dark RP works since I've never played in a Dark RP server, so this is just a guess. In Construct, there's a secret room located by a lambda under a ramp on one of the buildings, which has a sign that says the version of Construct and the name of the people who have worked on it. And also 2 couches, a table, and a random doll. It's weird. This one's pretty straightforward, and I've never really seen any sex Gmod add-ons. I've only seen one, but it doesn't even work. Or actually, no, I've seen a couple. But, I mean, there's not really any, and if there was, I wouldn't show them on here for obvious reasons. But I'm pretty sure they have existed before. I just haven't seen any myself. In the saves tab, you can find some saves that's just whole maps made out of props like this one. It's actually really cool. Like this one I think is a parkour. You can find a bunch of other ones just like this. It's pretty cool. There's some maps on the workshop that allow you to blow up the buildings within the map, which is actually really cool. I've never played on one of these until now, and it's actually kind of sick. If you click on the builder label, you'll be able to see a bunch of different props like roads, skyscrapers, and a tower. It's really cool, and I actually never knew about this before. This is just how there's add-ons on the workshop that are bases for NPCs to work. Like I have VJ base in order for some NPCs to work like on screen. Nothing really special about this one either. It just kind of helps the NPCs work. Here. So apparently this map is haunted by some type of creature. A lot of people say it's real and a lot of people don't. So I decided to go check it out myself. And wait, did you see that? Wait, what the fuck is that? Wait, nah, I got you, bro. I got you. The only thing scary here is the amount of missing textures. I seriously doubt there's anything here. Black Mesa is a sort of remake of the original Half-Life. You can get the NPCs in the workshop that remake the zombies and the scientists from the original Half-Life. I'm pretty sure this just ties into the last one. I couldn't find the exact map, but something with a similar name. It might even be the same, it just doesn't have the exact name. But it just seems like another Half-Life 2 roleplay map. Nothing really out of the ordinary. There's an achievement in the game called Yes, I Am the Real Gary, and in order to get it, you would have to join a game with the creator Gary. Though if you're collecting achievements and trying to get this one, good luck. He's since retired from playing the game and hasn't been in a server in a while. Again, just like props moving on their own, I don't think this is true. I don't have any personal experiences with this, and I doubt that it's true that, ragdolls move on their own. Sandbox is essentially a Garry's Mod 2, being developed by the same creator on the engine Source 2 instead of it just being a mod for a game. The game is still in very early development, so there isn't much in the game so far. Basic stuff is being worked on like physics and tools. This is referring to how the game's ambience is just kinda creepy, especially if you're playing in single player. In some maps like Big City, you can hear city noises despite no one actually being there, like cars driving by and just talking. I think this one's just talking about how certain game maps can be ported on the Gmod, like Team Fortress 2 and Portal. The best example of this being Half-Life 2, which its maps already come with the game. This is referring to how there are scripts available for download that allow you to backdoor the game, essentially hacking it. Most use it to give themselves admin on servers and to fuck around with people in the servers. There's stuff like menus that allow you to do a bunch of different things. Basically just a script that lets you hack servers. In the Steam Workshop, you can download add-ons that change the Half-Life weapons to Half-Life 2 beta weapons. They look significantly different, and the sounds are also different. You can get NPC changes, weapon changes, just a whole bunch of beta assets, which are really cool, and I haven't seen them before. There was an actual virus in the game back in 2014, and the way it worked was by forcing you to download it from an infected server, and would automatically change your name to, and make you type cough into the chat every 10 seconds. It would make a coughing sound. If an infected person would join a server, it would force the server to download the virus and infect everyone in it. Thankfully, it wasn't too bad, but it could have been worse. I couldn't find anything online about hackers getting into single player games, and I really doubt it's possible. I'm not super smart with tech and shit, and I don't think the game opens a server and such for someone to be able to join when you make a single player game, or something like that. So I found some things online, not much but enough to explain the whole thing. So the Gmod virus was apparently a virus that you could get from downloading a fake add-on like we talked about before, or joining an infected server. If infected, your menu would turn into this. A two-sided texture face of Gmod while screeching sounds would play. If you tried to Alt F4 or close the game with Task Manager, it would open an error message that would say, "It's too late, you're in the pits of hell." The virus would also open a lot of porn and virus sites on your computer. While it does seem like something out of a creepypasta, apparently there's a chance of this being true, although there's no proof. Big City is a pretty popular map that has a couple of Easter eggs. One is a screaming door. If you go up to it and use your interact key, you'll be pushed back and you'll hear a scream. The second one is a laughing door. It's actually pretty close to the screaming door, but instead when you press this one, it'll make a laughing sound. And for the final Easter egg, you go behind some of these buildings, which is also near the other doors, and go down to this room with red lights. A pretty creepy room. And when you press the door, you're taken to a place that's near the spawn area. There's supposed to be a gnome in here. When you grab it or hit it, it screams, but it shows as an error for me, so I pretend there's a gnome here. There seems to be more information on this in Russian than English, but here's what I can find. It's just a story about a guy seeing some strange figure in the dark room of Construct, which to this day no one really knows what it looks like, and there's certain things you have to do to make him appear. So the story goes like this. Some guy was playing Garry's Mod and saw what looked like a gray figure with multiple limbs in the dark room of Construct. The guy had apparently pirated the game and had no idea what was going on. He told his friend about it and his friend decided to check up on it. He placed some NPCs down and made a boat afterwards. He took a short ride in the boat, and while he was on the boat, he could see figures under the water and decided to get away from them. As soon as he reached land, all the NPCs were dead. Since it's in Russian, there really isn't much that I could find. But it seems like this creature, Meaty, seems to hide in the dark room of Construct, and this is what I was talking about earlier. But apparently nobody actually knows what he looks like. There's honestly nothing special about this. It's just a burnt body that looks pretty creepy. But it's used a lot for Gmod ghost hunting stuff. Just a few people saying that they see it around the map and stuff. This model was from Half-Life, and like a lot of models in this game, it had a different name. The original name for the charcoal model is Charred Corpse, so maybe it's an inside joke or something like that, because it is charcoal and it's charred corpse. I'm not sure. I'm just kind of guessing right now. I couldn't find anything on silhouettes in the water area of GM Construct other than Meaty, which we already talked about. This just kind of ties into the other iceberg stuff like footsteps and weird ambience. Again, this is probably fake unless you have some add-on that, I don't know, makes you not alone in some way. The Construct Conspiracy is a map that's available in the workshop. That isn't all that it seems. If you go up to one of the Born posters in the dark room, crouch and press it, you'll be able to go down this huge place that has MK Ultra chambers, a security lab, armory, and stuff like that. Supposedly Gary watches the players through here, and that's the whole gimmick of the map. But it's just a cool little map, not true, nothing really special. There are also a couple of different variants of this, like with flat grass. I actually skipped a few topics in the layers above, so I could just put it all into one in this next topic. I couldn't find anything on a downtown. Maybe it's mistaking for downtown underscore v2, so we'll go ahead and talk about downtown underscore v2. RP Downtown v2 is a pretty old role-playing map, if not one of the oldest role-playing maps. This is one of those maps that has the creepy ambience from Source games, and this actually has a pretty tragic story behind it. So there are rumors of the creator of this map committing suicide, which are sometimes assumed false because the uploader of the map can be seen as active. But really this is just a re-upload of the original map, and there's no solid evidence that he did commit suicide. The rumor of his suicide has since sparked interest in the map, and people claiming that it is haunted by the creator and stuff like that. And people claiming they have seen some sort of black figure. There are some quote-unquote sightings that have been published on different places before about people seeing a dark figure, although this is Garry's Mod and that's really easy to fake. So me and my friend actually went to go check it out, and we didn't really find anything out of the ordinary. Everything was fine. There's no such thing as a dark figure or anything. It's just a weird ambience because, you know, it's empty. But something strange that we did find, and I don't want to make this seem fake or anything, but we heard some type of like whispering or wheezing noise when I got on top of like a laundry machine. This was really weird because the clip also was like lagging out, like how OBS just kind of fucks up sometimes. And I don't want to make it seem like we staged this or anything. It might just be like a bird or something, a sound in the game. That's part of the ambience. But let me know what you think. My mic was actually muted because we didn't record properly, and this just adds on to it, making it seem like it was staged, but I promise it wasn't. You guys can look at this and decide for yourself.
We'll actually find anything here. There's like everywhere. What was what? Are you tripping?
This is just how some people believe that some maps are haunted, like Downtown V2. Although there's a bunch of videos online showing quote-unquote haunted maps, I seriously don't believe any maps are haunted. In the game, G-Man isn't supposed to talk, and actually can't without a special script or add-on. And I couldn't find any footage of G-Man talking without add-ons, and I have not had any personal experience of G-Man talking without add-ons. Although if this were to happen, it would be pretty creepy. So there were like 3 things on RP Banklaw in this iceberg, and I personally don't think any of them are true. They're the same thing. It's just people talking back and forth, trying to scare each other, and honestly, it just doesn't look like it's real. Like, come on. To make things worse, there's like no evidence either that there is a creature, so. The only thing I could find on this was also related to RP Banklaw, and it's the same shit. I don't think it's true. In Half-Life, the main character you play as, Gordon Freeman, is put into a stasis, hibernation or something. And yep, Gmod is definitely what Gordon dreamt of in a stasis. I tried to look it up a bunch of times by different words, and searching this up will literally only show 10 results. All I could think of is someone saying stuff like, I found Bigfoot and Fork, guys. I don't know. So there's quite a couple of other things relating to GM Krot on the iceberg as we go lower down, and we're just gonna skip those and put them all in the one. So basically, I couldn't find really anything on GM Krot. I'm pretty sure it's just an SCP map where they do SCP experiments. After doing a little research, that's what I found. I couldn't find anything about creatures other than SCPs, and I mean, it's an already creepy map, so it makes sense why people would try to come up with these things. Honestly, I don't think it's true either. Gmod Construct started out as a void room. It was all white in the first version, but the void box was added in Gmod 12. But I seriously could not find anything about a creature in the void other than Meaty, which we already talked about. Which isn't even the void, just the dark room. There's a couple of different videos in this, but there really does exist a version of Gmod for Half-Life 1 called the Go mod. I actually don't know how I've never thought of this before, because it just kinda sounds and looks cool. So if you'd like to play Gary's mod in Half-Life 1 and it's your thing, now you know it's real and exists. Go for it. Yeah guys, Herobrine is definitely in Gary's mod. In Half-Life 2, citizens can whistle a melody that some say it's the G-Man TV radio tune.
this tune out of my head.
And after a little bit of research, I couldn't find anything about it happening in Gary's mod. Although it would also be pretty creepy if it did happen, I'm not gonna lie. I couldn't find anything directly relating to a ghost in apartment in Construct, or just any building in Construct. And I'm pretty stupid and can't figure out which building is the hollow apartment. I couldn't find anything about footsteps behind you in single player. This really just ties into the whole you're not alone in single player stuff. And I doubt that there's something with you whenever you play single player. It could also just be people mistaking their own footsteps for footsteps behind them, just kind of messing up or something. I'm not completely sure. Gmod Tower was a social hangout mod for Gmod. Essentially a tower with a bunch of different things that you could do in it. Nothing seemed out of place for this. Later in 2014, a reveal for a second lobby for the game was released, showing a redesigned map and a ton of different features. Again, nothing really seemed out of the ordinary, but that would soon change. In 2015, a video was uploaded that showed someone finding an Easter egg in the map of a bulletin board behind some of the buildings in Lobby 2 of the map. The video was titled Creepy Gmod Tower Lobby 2 Easter Egg, and the description read, "What the fuck were the developers thinking? This is so fucked up." After I went into the room, Fraps crashed and I couldn't record anymore. So I think they removed this egg, guys. You can't even see the board, and they fixed the glitch where you could potion through the walls. This was only on Frisk 2 day of Lobby 2. I have turned off comments because people are telling me it's fake. It's really not, I promise. The board was there on the first 2 days. But when the bulletin board was pressed, it would take the player into an unsettling place with creepy music and lighting. The person in the video walks around the map and eventually finds a red light. They follow the light and a silhouette can be seen at the end of the hallway around the corner. As soon as the player turns to see what's there, the video crashes. A lot of people took this as a hoax, seeing as the billboard wasn't actually there, and that the person who uploaded the video joined only a few months before the video was uploaded. But then a screenshot of a bulletin board surfaced proving the existence of a bulletin board in Lobby 2 of Gmod Tower. Soon later, people would find out that it was real, but not in the way that they initially thought. There was a planned ARG short film called The Streamer that was supposed to be interactive, but it was eventually cancelled. This was the explanation for the billboard. The video was actually just marketing for the cancelled film. As for the screenshot of the billboard, I've only seen that it was placed in there a few times to fuck with people and wouldn't actually teleport you anywhere. But the mystery was good while it lasted. This one's actually pretty straightforward. There's a few videos out there showing how to download Gmod on mobile in a regular scam video type of way. There's a few mobile ripoffs of the game that you can get, but there is one real Gmod mobile port that I could find. That's Gmod. This actually looks really sick and is free on the Google Play Store, and I really wish I could play it. It almost looks like some type of emulator. And now for the most real and scary theory out of them all. The FBI watches you play Gary's mod. Well guys, that was it. I'm so glad I finally finished this. I should have finished it sooner. This video is way past its time. I started working on this in January and just put this off for so long, and it was really fun to make. I'm just experimenting on what different type of videos I can make, and this was really fun to make. So if you guys like this, please tell me, comment down below, and subscribe if you want to. Thank you guys. I'll see you guys next time.